discovered this kid back in about 1937, edited and published his first story, and I predict he's going to make a mark in the world.
Sure. Now, this is a hell of a situation for you. You're forced to come in here. I'm going to watch out for whiplash among you. I'll quit talking when I see the whiplash. Okay? Now, I never had a college education. My education was in high school, and when I quit high school, I couldn't go on to college, so I got a job selling newspapers on a street corner every night. I made $9 a week. This is 1939, when $9 was worth a lot of money. And I started writing every day. But I went to the library almost 3-4 times a week. And I grew up in the library. And I read every darn book that I could find in the essay section, the play section, short stories, novels. And I wrote every day, continuously, from 1933, when I was 13, on up until today. And after about 10 years of writing, you begin to write some fairly good stories. But all the early stuff was dreadful, just dreadful stuff. But knowing that I would never make it to college, I took some of my teachers from high school with me into my life. My short story teacher, Jeanette Johnson, my poetry teacher, Snow Longley House, and they remained my friends until they died a few years ago in their 90s. So, but I knew I wanted face-to-face education. I'm no good in the classroom. I go to sleep. I suppose that happens to you too, huh? I can't stand being in a group of people and listening to lectures. That's not the way I learn. I like front confrontation. Put me in a room with a teacher or a bookseller or a writer, and we can talk. And then I learn, huh? Or I go to the library and I learn that way. So you're looking at someone now who has never been to college. If some of you want to be writers who are here today, don't go to college to learn it. Huh? Just go to the library and stay there 5 days a week. Read every damn book there is to read. And write every day out of your passion. Huh? Write what you want to write. Not what someone else wants you to write. But I followed my star. I worked for Mr. Ackerman here when I was a teenager in high school. He had a magazine. I wrote lousy articles and lousy short stories for him. But he was kind enough to publish them. And it gave me a start. But by following what I wanted to do, people made fun of me for writing science fiction. People made fun of me for loving dinosaurs. I fell in love with them in 1925 for the film called The Lost World. It's made over as a modern film a couple of years ago, The Lost World, all over again. The screenplay was no better than 1925. Very primitive, but the dinosaurs were fantastic. Well, I never gave up on the dinosaurs. And I never gave up on people like Lon Chaney making The Hunchback of Notre Dame, or The Phantom of the Opera, or King Kong, which came out when I was 13. Still a great film, better than the second version, which they made about 20 years ago. But the first version struck me as incredible. So I collected all these things together into my life, and I wrote about them in spite of people making fun of me. And I wrote a short story called The Foghorn when I was about 31 years old, about a dinosaur falling in love with a lighthouse. He hears the foghorn blowing, thinks it's another dinosaur risen from 1 billion years of slumber, and swims for an encounter with this other beast, and discovers it's just a foghorn in a lighthouse and not another dinosaur. He tears the whole thing down and dies of a broken heart on the beach. I wrote that story almost 50 years ago. It changed my life. By writing something I wanted to write for me, my love of dinosaurs. John Huston read that short story, thought he smelled the ghost of Herman Melville in there, and gave me the job of writing the screenplay of Moby Dick. So most of you have seen Moby Dick at one time or another. It's repeated on TV. It's got Gregory Peck playing Ahab. But I got the job by being foolish, by going with my love of dinosaurs. If I hadn't written that story, I would never have done Moby Dick. So you see, the way life works is each of you has something perhaps silly to other people that you want to do, but you want to do it with all your heart. So do it, do it. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. You don't know. I didn't know I could write one-act plays. All the plays that some of you saw last night were written without knowing whether or not I could write a decent play. But you do it, don't you? And without actors, you're alone with a typewriter. You get the stories finished. And someone asked me a couple of years ago, before I did some of these things on the stage, I hear you're writing plays. I said, yes, I am. He said, are they any good? I said, I don't know. He says, why don't you know? I said, because I haven't seen them standing up. You can't read a play, you gotta see it. So he says, come to my house next Thursday night. I'll have some actors there, and we'll stand up and we'll read your plays and see if they're any damn good, So I went to his house, and he had 2 actors waiting for me there. Their names might be known to some of you. I think you're too young, you may not have seen some of these people. One character actor named Strother Martin, who has been in a lot of films that you may have seen over a period of time, because you do have films on TV. And the other was James Whitmore, who did Harry Truman on stage and countless films, and did stories on my series. These 2 actors read my plays out loud to me, standing up that night 40 years ago, and I realized I was a playwright. But until I could hear it come out of their mouths, I didn't know. So what am I telling you? Do things. There's no way of telling how they're going to turn out, but do them for Christ's sake. Don't listen to anyone else. Do what you want to do in the arts, the sciences, technology. It doesn't make any difference as long as you have a passion for it. So as long as you wake up every morning saying, gee, Jesus, God, I'm glad to be alive. I can hardly wait to begin. I'm still that way. I'm writing on 2 novels now, a book of short stories, book of essays. I'm writing an opera. I still wake up feeling, I'm going to turn 80 in a couple of weeks. I wake up feeling I'm 12 years old. I'm 12 years old still. And I can hardly wait to get to the typewriter, because I have things to say, things to do. And I want that for each one of you too. I want that enthusiasm, that joy, that excitement of being alive. You've got a gift here. You're privileged to be alive. A lot of people died to give you life. A lot of people in this century that just passed had to die in order to ensure the way of life that you're all living. You've got it easy. All you got to do now is wake up tomorrow morning and jump into life and create and be yourself and have a really great life, all of you. Thank you very much.
Remember that Mr. Bradbury will be lecturing tonight at UNA at Norton Auditorium at 7 o'clock. Be there, you will not regret it.
This was an advertisement.
That's right. We're on a publicity junket.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Put a sandwich board on it. Thank you all very much.
Hey, thank you so much.
You would understand that underneath it all, you're a maid.
Okay.
And I am only
Thanks again.
Sure, thank you.
Bye-bye.
I would work
Bye-bye, Mr.
against slave the whole day through if I could hurry home to you. For you brought a new kind of love to me.
Oh, that's Maurice Chevalier, 1932.
That's
I
right.
think. If
Hey.
a nice you get could sing like you,
That's
they
right.
sing
Much
much better
sweeter
than
than
they
They
do.
do for you
Brought a
brought
new kind of love to me.
to me. If the Sandman brought me dreams, I know that she's the queen. I'm the slave, and yet you will understand that underneath it all, she's a maid, and we are only a man. I would work and slave the whole day through if I could hurry home to you, for you brought a new kind of love to me.
She was the heiress to a chewing gum manufacturer, wasn't she?
Yeah.
See, I
Yeah.
remember that from when I was 12.
They did that song in Monkey Business, 1931, Marx Brothers. The four boys are trying to get off the boat, and Harpo puts a record player on his back and pantomimes that song to try to. He says he's Chevalier.
Oh, yeah. One of the Jack Benny themes at the end of his program is based on a song that was in one of those early films. I'm trying to think.
Dinner at 8. Don't forget. Just tell your mother you might be late. Don't forget. Dinner at 8.
Sing Sunny Girl.
Sunny girl instead of sunny boy?
Climb upon mine. Well, let's see. You're good for what ails me, plus you do me good. Climb upon my knee, Davy Lee. Though you're only 3, Davy Lee. You've no way of knowing, I've no way of showing what you mean to me, sonny boy. When there are gray skies,
Yeah.
I don't mind the gray skies. You make them blue, sunny boy. Friends
may
may
forsake
forsake me. Let them all forsake me. I still have you, sunny boy. You're sent from heaven, and I know your worth. You've made a heaven for me right here on earth. And the angels, they grew lonely. They took you because they were lonely. Now I'm lonely too, sunny boy.
Oh, God. I went to an Al Joseph broadcast. He broadcast from the old RKO studio lot, and then they moved on to Melrose. They opened the new studio in 1935. And it's Scannex now, I believe, radio or KSJ. Still there, but a TV studio. And I roller skated out because I had no money for bus fare. And I went into the Al Joseph broadcast, sitting in the front row with my roller skates on my lap. Al Joseph looked down, saw my skates, jumped off the stage, ran over to me, grabbed my skates, ran back up on the stage, started to put them on. I jumped up on the stage and ran over to him, and I grabbed the skates and I said, "That's my transportation!" And the audience went wild, and I harumphed off the stage and left him without the skates. Wonderful memory. That's right.